Embrace the sacred storm. August unleashes a cosmic awakening that transforms everything. I never expected a single dream to change everything. It felt like a thunderclap in my soul, waking me up from a slumber I didn't even know I was in. This wasn't just any dream, it was a tempest swirling with colors that shouldn't exist outside of a painting. Waves of electric blue, fiery orange, and a haunting purple danced before my eyes, shifting and morphing as if alive. I awoke with a sense of urgency prickling at the back of my neck, the air thick with anticipation. Standing at the window, I peered out. The sky was an unusual hue, clouds twisted into ominous shapes, looming over my small town like a dark ocean ready to unleash its fury. I could feel the energy crackling in the air. Every gust of wind whispered secrets, urging me to pay attention. What was happening? In that moment of doubt, I remembered the signs I'd brushed off before, the flicker of lights, the way shadows danced in the corners of my vision, the feeling that something was just slightly out of sync. I had dismissed the strange occurrences as mere coincidences, but now they felt urgent. This was a call to something greater, something cosmic. The universe was reaching out, weaving a tapestry of destiny before me, but what thread was I meant to grasp? My meditation later that morning felt different. I closed my eyes, attempting to center myself, but visions swirled through my mind like a raging storm. Images of people, places, and paths intertwined. I could almost hear the faint echoes of laughter, the soft cries of sorrow, the mingling of lives yet to connect. Why was I having these glimpses? My heart raced, straining against invisible bindings. To what end was this awakening leading me? Then came the sound, a low rumble in the distance that sent a shiver down my spine. It was accompanied by whispers, voices overlapping, discussing things I couldn't decipher, yet they tugged at something deep inside of me. My palms grew clammy. Who were they? What were they saying? I leaned in, straining to catch just a word or two, but the words slipped away like dreams forgotten upon waking. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting eerie shadows on the ground, I stepped outside. The sky had opened, bathing everything in a hauntingly beautiful, surreal glow. It felt like stepping into another world, the kind you read about in stories that leave you breathless. Even the crickets were silent, their usual chorus replaced by an almost palpable stillness. Just then, I saw Ida flash in the sky, like a shooting star but lasting longer, brighter. It pulsed with an energy that resonated deep within me. Was this the sign I had been waiting for? To accept the magic swirling around me? My heart pounded as I thought of the possibilities, yet anxiety coiled around me like a suffocating vine. There was a weight in the air, an expectation. My journey was about to begin, but would I be ready? And then it all faded into darkness, the sky blanketed in night. My heart raced, and I was left breathless. What had I just witnessed? Was this the prelude to a greater purpose or merely a trick of the light? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The night felt heavy with the weight of unspoken words, the air thick with a sense of foreboding. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, recalling the brilliant flash, the sounds that lingered in my mind like a haunting melody. I knew I had crossed a threshold, but to where? My heart's rhythm echoed the chaos outside, where thunder rolled like a distant drum, urging me to awaken further. Morning's light crept timidly into my room. I felt as if I had been cradled in the arms of a dream interwoven with reality. I rose and decided to revisit the place where I had witnessed the extraordinary light. Perhaps the truth, the path, lay hidden in that sacred space. The air smelled of rain, the earth's promise thrumming beneath my feet as I walked towards the meadow at the edge of town. It was a familiar place, yet everything felt charged with newness. Each blade of grass radiated verdant life, and the sky overhead was an expansive canvas of swirling gray and blue, the perfect backdrop for the cosmic play unfolding before me. As I stood in the center of the meadow, I closed my eyes, drawing a deep breath. The world around me hushed, and once again, I felt the whispers return, faint but insistent. They flickered at the edge of my consciousness, urging me to listen closely. I opened my eyes to see leaves swirling in the air, caught in a silent dance, as if choreographed by unseen hands. There was magic at work, and I felt compelled to join. In that moment, another vision unfurled. A woman appeared to me, her gaze penetrating yet warm. She wore an ethereal gown made of light, every step she took sending ripples through the air. This was no ordinary encounter. She seemed to hold the stories of ages, memories stitched together by threads of time. As she looked at me, I felt waves of recognition wash over our shared existence. With a soft smile, she extended a hand, and I knew instinctively I was meant to follow. Entranced, I took a step forward, opening myself to the mystery. As I walked beside her, she gestured towards the sky where clouds twisted into fantastic shapes. "Look closer," she urged. "The universe is always speaking, but it takes a willing heart to hear its language." I squinted, focusing on the clouds that now morphed into visions of laughter, tears, and moments of profound connection, an endless tapestry of human experiences. Each shape unfurled new stories that interwove our lives, revealing how deeply we are all intertwined. I was part of a grand design, each thread a vital connection leading me closer to my purpose, but as quickly as she had appeared, she faded into the mist that now enveloped me. I stood alone, the light of understanding dimmed once again, replaced with questions that echoed louder than ever. What were these visions trying to teach me? How did they connect to my tumultuous awakening? The whispers continued, but their meaning eluded me like wildflowers teetering on the brink of bloom, yet not quite there. The wind shifted, drawing my attention to the horizon. A storm loomed, rolling and churning with anticipation. Then, I felt a pulse in the air, a vibration resonating deep within. This was more than a mere storm, it was a cosmic shift, begging to be acknowledged. What was waiting for me on the other side of this impending tempest? What truths lay hidden in the eye of the storm? And so, standing amid the stirring winds and the gathering clouds, I realized my journey was far from over. It was evolving, morphing into something greater. My heart raced with uncertainty, fear mingled with exhilaration. Would I have the courage to embrace the unknown? In the grip of nature's fury, I couldn't help but wonder, what path should I take when the lines between reality and the cosmos blur? Would I recognize the signs as they continue to unfold, or would I allow the fear of the storm to wash my purpose away? Each whisper, each vision was a breadcrumb on a path I had yet to fully understand, and I was left wondering how many more signs awaited me as I stepped further into the embrace of this sacred storm. The wind howled, sending my heart racing as I stood there, a small figure against the vastness of the meadow, teetering on the edge of anticipation. The sky darkened, swirling with energy, and an electric current crackled, resonating deep within my being. It felt as if the world was holding its breath, waiting for something monumental to unfold. My feet, anchored to the soft earth, prepared to greet whatever truth the storm had to offer. With each gust, I felt the whispers grow fiercer, swirling around me like a tempest of thoughts, the warnings, the invitations, a symphony of voices merging into one. I closed my eyes again, surrendering to the rhythm of the wind. Through the chaos, a fragment of clarity broke through. This was not just about me. It was about the collective, about humanity's shared journey through the turbulence of existence. As if responding to my realization, the clouds parted momentarily, revealing a single beam of sunlight that penetrated the dark expanse. Below it, the ground seemed to shimmer, and I followed the light as my guide. With each cautious step forward, I felt more anchored to the rhythm of the earth, the heartbeat of life beneath me lending me strength. Nature was alive, a sentient presence urging me to discover the significance of this moment, but as I stepped closer to where the light glowed strongest, I stumbled across an ancient stone, half buried in the grass. It was adorned with inscriptions, weathered by time but still legible enough to read. They spoke of journeys undertaken by souls through the chaos of storms, paths that led to realms of understanding and awakening. Each letter pulsed with energy, and I instinctively reached out, tracing my fingers over the carvings. A surge of warmth spread through me, igniting a flame of recognition. I was meant to discover the stories etched in this stone, to unlock its wisdom. As I continued to feel its texture, a sudden rush of memories assailed me, moments of joy, pain, solitude, and connection. They unfolded before me like petals unfurling from a flower, revealing the intricate layers of my being. Here lay the truths I had been searching for, hidden beneath the surface of my everyday perceptions. What else had I buried? What other stones, both literal and metaphorical, needed to be uncovered to guide me on this journey? Then, a booming voice echoed through the meadow, rich and resonant yet undeniably gentle. "Do not fear the storm," it commanded. "Embrace it. It is a harbinger of transformation, the catalyst for your soul's evolution." I turned my gaze to the sky once more, where lightning illuminated the swirling clouds in a spectacular display. In that blinding flash, I saw faces ghostly yet vivid, each a reminder of those who had come before me. They looked upon me with encouragement, a powerful reminder that their wisdom still lingered, merging with my own. They were part of this sacred storm, my ancestors, my kin, those who had danced in the tempest and emerged anew. Will I, too, emerge changed? I pondered, my breath catching in my throat. The question hung like a bead of dew caught in a web, glistening with possibility and invitation to explore uncharted territories within. As the storm rolled closer, I felt my heart expand with a desire to uncover more, to seek, to question, to understand why my spirit felt restless and hungry. Perhaps the storm was not just a metronome of chaos but a sacred teacher, a force of nature that sought to reveal deeper truths that lay hidden beneath layers of fear and doubt. And as I stood there, contemplating the repercussions of stepping into the storm, I felt the unmistakable pull of curiosity urging me to engage more deeply. Would I embrace the unknown with open arms, or would I retreat into the safety of the ordinary? The energy crackled, and I realized the answers lay not in avoidance but in acceptance. Each moment in the storm offered revelations waiting to be grasped, an ever-unfolding tapestry of insight. With that understanding, I breathed in deeply, enriching my spirit with the vibrancy of the storm's promise. I closed my eyes once again, surrendering to the whirlwind of emotions. I remained suspended in that haze of transition. What awaited me on the other side? What untold stories lay hidden within the sacred storm? The questions lingered like an echo, inviting me to take one more step into the unknown, just as the clouds began to release their tempestuous tears, purifying and renewing, unraveling all that no longer served me. The raindrops began to fall, an initial soft patter that morphed into a torrential embrace, each droplet reverberating 1,000 forgotten stories. The storm was not merely a backdrop to my contemplation, it was alive, moving through me, coaxing the shadows from the corners of my spirit. I opened my eyes, surprised to find a strange tranquility amid the chaos, as if the storm was synchronizing my heartbeat with the pulse of the universe. Each raindrop connected me to the earth, solidifying my resolve. I stood grounded yet electrified, ready to surrender to the rhythm of nature's dance. The whispering winds guided my thoughts, weaving in and out like an ancient melody, beckoning me to listen more closely. What truths had I overlooked? I wondered. What knowledge could surrender to the storm reveal? Then, through the curtain of rain, I spotted a figure emerging in the distance, a silhouette wrapped in a swirling cloak, the fabric blending seamlessly with the storm. As they approached, I felt an inexplicable warmth radiating from them, a beacon amid the tempest. Their face remained obscured by the hood, but there was an aura of familiarity that made my heart quicken. "Do not shy from the storm," the figure called, their voice a calming balm against the cacophony. "It is in turmoil that we find our deepest truths." A sense of recognition swept over me. This being was not foreign. I understood them to be a guardian, a facilitator of the journey I was on. With each step they took toward me, the storm danced around us, weaving our energies together in a tapestry of experience. "What must I understand?" I asked, my voice almost lost in the wind. "What awaits beyond this chaos?" The figure raised their hands, and the rain transformed into shimmering shards, catching the light in a dance of brilliance. "You are not alone in this evolution," they replied enigmatically. "Each soul carries a piece of the same storm, their struggles and victories intertwined. To awaken fully, you must acknowledge not just your own journey, but the journeys of those around you. As the words settled within me, I suddenly felt a profound connection to the figures that had flickered in the lightning flashes. Ancestors, friends, souls yet to be met, all teaching me that our paths are woven together, expanding far beyond any individual experience. In this interconnected tapestry, I saw the challenges, the joys, the lessons that were shared, rippling outwards, echoing through time. Then how do I engage? I pressed, heart racing with renewed curiosity. How do I embrace this collective storm? By remembering, the figure whispered, their voice drawing me closer, that vulnerability is strength. In revealing your stories, the hurts and the triumphs, you invite others to share theirs. Do not bury your truth for fear of the storm, instead, allow it to bring forth the rain that nurtures growth. With those words hanging between us, the storm began to shift, almost as if the heavens were responding to the wisdom exchanged. The wind continued to sway, but now it felt like a nurturing caress, a reminder that storms serve to cleanse and fortify. With a newfound awareness, I realized the storm was more than a phenomenon, it was a facilitator of connection, a catalyst for the healing of the collective spirit. As the guardian's figure began to fade back into the maelstrom, an urgent question lingered, a realization striking deep within. What stories of my own had long needed to be freed? What parts of me still lay shackled, waiting to emerge into the light? Suddenly, I felt a gentle tug at my heart, a call to dive deeper into the well of my memories, to unearth experiences that shaped my very being. I envisioned stories bursting forth like seeds in the soil, each capable of blossoming into a beautiful narrative. But as I stood there, the rain drenching me as I considered these layers, another question bubbled to the surface, increasingly loud amidst the storm's roar: what power arises when we acknowledge our interconnectedness? How might this sacred storm catalyze not just personal transformation, but a wave of awakening that ties us all together? Emboldened by these reflections, I looked to the storm swirling overhead, to the echoes of life that pulsed around me. With my next breath, I prepared to embrace both the chaos and the beauty it offered, every gust, every drop intertwined with the stories yet to surface. In the heart of the storm, I felt the undeniable truth: every question posed was an opportunity for revelation. What awaited me was still hidden in the storm's embrace, a cosmic awakening that beckoned me deeper into my spiritual journey. The storm gathered intensity, creating a symphony of water and wind that echoed my inner tumult. With each gust, I felt the ground tremble beneath me as if it resonated with the questions coiling within my chest. The figure had vanished, but their presence lingered like a whisper in my mind, urging me onward. As the rainfall steadied into a gentle rhythm, I decided to move deeper into the heart of the storm. I stepped forward, my shoes squelching against the saturated earth, tracing paths along familiar trails that wound through the forest. There, the trees bowed under the weight of the rain, their branches adorned with glistening droplets. The scent of wet earth invigorated my senses, awakening memories of childhood adventures and trails untainted by doubt. Suddenly, amidst the thrum of nature's orchestra, an echo of laughter drifted through the trees. I halted, curiosity igniting like a spark. Who else dared to embrace the storm? Following the sound, I moved cautiously, winding through the dense foliage until I stumbled upon a small clearing. Gathered around a fire, shielded by a makeshift awning of branches and leaves, were three figures, a group of kindred spirits, seemingly unperturbed by the downpour. Their laughter intertwined with the rain, creating a tapestry of joy in defiance of the wild elements. I recognized them as part of my circle, each a reflection of an essential piece of my soul. Join us. One of them called cheerfully, a spark of familiarity igniting warmth within me. We're sharing stories that the storm has uncovered. Compelled by their invitation, I crossed into their circle, the warmth of the fire wrapping around me like a comforting embrace. Sitting with them, I felt the energy shift. It was as if the storm outside became a backdrop for a deeper understanding, a merging of individual journeys. Tell us what the storm has revealed to you, said another, her eyes sparkling with excitement. As I glanced around, I saw their faces illuminated by the flickering flames, shadows dancing as the storm rained around us. Each of their gazes held a thread of the unknown, and I felt a deep yearning to contribute my piece to the fabric of this gathering. The storm showed me my vulnerabilities, I began, feeling the words pulse through me. It spoke of connections and stories, of shared experiences that weave us together. It beckons me to confront the truths that remain unspoken within me. The group nodded, each of them drawing nearer, and in that moment, I understood, our stories held a power that could shape the very essence of our being. The laughter that intermingled with our words began to evolve. It was no longer just a sound, but a bridge to the divine. We began to unearth our experiences, each revelation unlocking more pieces of our individual quests. The first to share spoke of loss endured, how the rain transformed personal grief into a reservoir of strength, infusing new life into their purpose. The second wove a tale of overcoming self-doubt, the shadows of past narratives embracing the courage found under the storm's humility. Their stories tugged at the layers of my own past, urging me to dig deeper. As my heart swelled with empathy, another profoundly simple question arose like a blooming flower: how can embracing our stories change the world? In that moment, I understood that every word spoken could ignite the dormant flames within others, influencing ripples that extended far beyond this sacred gathering. Our shared history opened pathways to reconnect. A funnel of energy coursing through not just our group but the universe at large, driving forward a collective healing. Yet, even as I absorbed the profound energy around the fire, a lingering fear crept forward, stifling my voice. Was I ready to expose the true depth of my own stories? To confront the darkness and allow it to bring forth the light? What other shadows lay dormant, waiting to emerge? As if sensing my internal struggle, the wind shifted, and the storm began to ease. The rain transformed into a gentle mist, wrapping around us like a blessing. A flicker of realization sparked in my heart. Me fear could be a catalyst, not a cage. The storm had brought us together, revealing that vulnerability is the birthplace of connection and transformation. That we shared laughter and tears until the night deepened, yet within me, questions remained unanswered. What uncharted narrative still awaited the light of day? How could we move forward as guardians of each other's stories, holding space for magnified truths amidst a world so often shrouded in silence? As the embers crackled, releasing threads of smoke into the air, I breathed deeply, feeling the stillness of the forest beneath the fading storm. So much still lay ahead in the mysterious journey, a labyrinth of stories interwoven with fate, beckoning me into its embrace. What awaited beyond this storm, and how might it change the very essence of who I was destined to become? The air was crisp, fresh with the remnants of rain, and the sound of the crackling fire filled the clearing with a sacred hum. As the night deepened and the stars blinked from the heavens, I found my gaze flicking from the glowing embers to the faces illuminated in its warmth. Each person exuded a unique light, their stories swirling seamlessly into the very fabric of our gathering. The atmosphere felt electric, yet tranquil, like the moment when the first hints of dawn break over a dark horizon. Just as each flame danced differently, I sensed the diverse paths each of us had traveled, intertwining in this ephemeral moment. It struck me how often we forget that every encounter has the potential to illuminate the shoeprints we've left behind and the trails we have yet to walk. The gathering had shifted from mere sharing to something transcendent. We had constructed a sacred circle, each of us a pillar of strength, and in that safety, a new openness emerged. Embracing my courage, I decided to share something deeper, something raw. I've battled with my own sense of purpose for as long as I can remember, I confessed, words tumbling out like the rain streams trickling from the branches above. The expectations weighed heavily on my heart, whispering doubts that often drowned out my own voice. I realized that I've silenced myself in pursuit of fitting the mold of what I thought I should be, rather than embracing the wild unknown of who I truly am. As I spoke, the group absorbed my authenticity, their eyes shimmering with compassion. I could see strands of their own experiences reflected back at me, where dreams had been relinquished in the face of doubt, and the pursuit of acceptance had overshadowed the call of the spirit. Before I could succumb to my insecurities, one of the figures shifted closer and took my hand. "You are not alone in this," she said, her voice a nurturing balm. "Every heartbeat resonates with a longing for authenticity. The storm has illuminated the night sky, but more importantly, it has illuminated you." Her words sparked something ancient within me, awakening a feeling I had long buried. And then, almost as if in response, the wind began to sing a haunting melody, notes swirling through the trees and carrying the secrets of the past. "Do you hear that?" I asked, hushed by an inexplicable reverencia recognition of something greater than ourselves. The others nodded, their expressions revealing a shared understanding. It was as if the very essence of the forest itself had joined our gathering, guiding us deeper into the exploration of our truths. No story is insignificant, one participant declared, it is through our willingness to share what we carry that others can rise up. And there, in the heart of the storm's aftermath, I felt the energy shift again, wrapping around our circle like a comforting embrace. We remained immersed in the sounds of the night, exposed to the blanket of stars overhead, each twinkling light a reminder that our journeys, however scattered, were part of a grand cosmic tapestry. The realization dawned upon me, perhaps the storm speaks not just to our fears, but also to the vast luminosity hidden within our shadows, harmonizing our existence with the unseen universe. Yet, as I reflected on the powerful connections forged in the flickering light, a question lingered in the recesses of my heart, refusing to dim. What awaits when we emerge from the quiet cocoon of our fears? If I allow my truth to fully unfold, what dimensions of my soul will be revealed? The fire crackled and the wind whispered secrets unknown as I mulled over the energy of this moment. Had this sacred storm only been an introduction to the vast possibilities lying just beyond the horizon? With each question, an electrifying anticipation brewed, urging me to venture further toward the unseen, embracing the unfolding journey, wherever it may lead. The dawn broke with a crimson glow, washing over the landscape and igniting the dew-kissed grass with a sense of new beginnings. As I emerged from the cocoon of sleep, the memories of the previous night lingered like the soft notes of a lullaby that danced into the corners of my mind. I felt different, transformed in some subtle yet profound way, as if the storm had scrubbed my spirit free of the heaviness that had long weighed me down. The forest had awakened with me, birds chirping and rustling leaves whispering secrets to the wind. There was an unspoken promise in the air, a call to follow the echoes of the night deeper, to the places where shadows lingered and mysteries beckoned. A burning curiosity surged, compelling me to walk along the forest path that beckoned through the trees. As I walked, I smiled at the way nature, in its untamed wisdom, mirrored my internal battle. Thick roots tangled like the thoughts that crisscrossed my mind, while towering trees stood resolute, embodying strength and resilience. Each step stirred echoes of the stories shared by my companions under the stars. What if my journey taught me not just about myself but about the universal threads that connected us all? As I ventured deeper, I stumbled upon a small clearing, where remnants of the storm rested in the form of fallen branches and scattered leaves. There, a profound stillness enveloped me, and I felt the weight of the world dissolve in that sacred space. Sitting cross-legged on the soft earth, I closed my eyes and breathed deeply, a rhythm that resonated with the pulse of nature. In that stillness, visions danced before my eyelids. Faces appeared, friends and strangers alike, their stories unfurling like petals in bloom. Struggles and triumphs whirled around me, intertwining in a cosmic tapestry richer than I had imagined. Each visage illuminated aspects of my soul, the wise woman urging me to embrace my vulnerabilities, the fearless warrior inspiring me to confront my fears, and the gentle child reminding me never to lose wonder. Suddenly, I felt a shift, a flicker of energy that coursed through me, connecting me to something profound. A voice, soft yet powerful, wrapped around my heart, whispering, "You are not just part of this journey, you are the sacred thread weaving through the tapestry." I sensed that this experience was not yet fully unveiled, it was merely a doorway opening to far more. As I opened my eyes, the sun had climbed higher in the sky, creating a golden pathway through the trees. I stood and followed this light, instinctively drawn to seek the source. With each step, I felt the courage to share the full orchestration of my soul, a willingness to bear my essence and the practice of stepping into my power. The words of my companions echoed gently in my mind, "Your truth holds the power to elevate others." Before long, I encountered a weathered stone carved with symbols I couldn't decipher. The energy around it pulsed like the heartbeat of the earth, cradling me in its embrace. Slowly, I reached out, feeling the rough surface beneath my fingers, and closed my eyes once more. In the stillness, I focused inward, contemplating what was hidden in the shadows of my fears and doubts, what awaited me. Then, another vision appeared, this one unsettling yet transformative. I saw a vast ocean where waves surged and crashed with relentless determination. But within that chaos, I also glimpsed boats reaching the shore, each adorned with the hopes, fears, and dreams of travelers setting sail through the storm. I realized that I was in one of those boats, navigating through uncharted waters, and yet the horizon glowed invitingly, a reminder of the light that awaited beyond the turbulence. As I stood before the stone, I sensed an invitation to forge my own understanding of purpose, to cultivate a practice of authenticity amid uncertainty. I felt the stories gathered around the fire transform into a commitment to not only my journey but also the collective calling to rise together. The voice within urged me to ask, what if each struggle was a stepping stone, and what if beyond fear lies a greater freedom? Feeling a renewed sense of purpose, I turned to leave the clearing, yet I couldn't ignore the profound questions echoing in my heart. What lies ahead when I embrace both my light and shadow? With the storms and sun as my guides, to what new revelations will I be led? The world outside felt alive with possibility, and I took a breath, ready to welcome the unfolding adventure, knowing that each step would uncover new layers of my spiritual journey, weaving me further into the sacred tapestry of existence, where every question invited me to dive deeper into the mystery of life. The air was electric as I left the clearing, my heart thrumming with an urgency to discover what lay just beyond the familiar paths. Each step drew me further into the embrace of the forest, where shadows played tricks with my mind, whispering secrets I was yet to understand. The sunlight filtered through the trees, dappling the ground with light and dark, much like the duality I felt within. A brisk wind brushed against my face, carrying with it the scent of wet earth and wildflowers, a reminder that transformation often arises from chaos. I reflected on the storm that had ravaged not just the forest, but my spirit, reminding me that upheaval brings about renewal. What was being born within me, I wondered, as I reached an old oak tree, its branches sprawling like a welcoming embrace. As I leaned against its sturdy trunk, I closed my eyes again, allowing myself to be lulled into stillness. In that quiet space, visions cascaded over me like leaves caught in a gentle tempest. I saw myself standing at the edge of a chasm, the abyss filled with clouds swirling in a dazzling shade of sapphire, deep and unfathomable. Was this the unknown a reflection of my fears, or perhaps the birthplace of my next revelation? A voice echoed, soft yet insistent, the edge is not a precipice but a threshold. What awaits you on the other side is the fullness of your being. It resonated within me, prompting an inquiry that sent ripples of questioning through the fabric of my understanding. To step into the unknown was that where true courage lay. Casting my gaze toward the horizon, I spotted a figure moving gracefully through the trees. Intrigued, I followed, curiosity pushing me beyond my comfort zone. The figure turned, and I was met with the serene gaze of an elder, her hair silver like moonlight and eyes reflecting the ancient wisdom of the ages. She beckoned me closer, and I could feel the energy between us crackling like live wires. The answers you seek are often hidden in the stories of others, she said, her voice soft like feathers brushing against the skin. Are you willing to listen? I nodded, drawn to her presence, feeling a kindred spirit awakening within me. She gestured for me to sit beside her on a low stone, cool against my skin as I settled in. Tell me, child of the journey, what burdens do you carry? My heart opened, and I spoke of my fears and dreams, the weight of expectations I felt from the outside world. She listened intently, her brow furrowing with understanding. The sacred journey often demands that we walk through our storms. Each fear, each doubt, is a thread in the tapestry of your existence. Her words hung in the air, inviting me to contemplate their meaning. But how does one transform pain into purpose? I asked, the question emerging from the depths of my soul. Pain is the crucible of growth, she replied, her voice unwavering. Embrace it as a teacher, for within it lies the key to your authenticity. Only through acknowledgement can you transmute that energy into a force that nurtures both yourself and others. In that moment, I felt the weight of my burdens shift, transforming into a challenge rather than a shackle. I began to see them as stepping stones, a bridge leading me to the essence of who I was meant to be. What if each struggle was part of the path towards enlightenment? I mused, my excitement brewing, a warmth blossoming within me. Yes, the elder affirmed, a soft smile spreading across her face. And each encounter, whether fleeting or profound, shapes not just your journey but the journeys of those you touch. The sacred storm is not only the chaos within but also the connective threads to the world around you. Inspired, I sought the courage to embrace my challenges, not as burdens, but as vital lessons in the expansive landscape of life. But as I sat in communion with her, a new question flowered in my mind: what happens when we learn to dance in the storms of our lives, and how do we inspire others to join us in this cosmic rhythm? As the sun began to dip low in the sky, casting long shadows across the forest floor, I felt ready to step forward into this new phase of my journey. The elder rose, prompting me to do the same. "Remember," she said, her voice rich with gravity. "Every cosmic storm can lead to a deeper awakening if you remain open to the lessons it brings." With that, I turned back toward the path. I felt fortified by newfound insight, a commitment to not shy away from the storms, but to embrace them, allowing their winds to propel me toward discovery. The space within me buzzed with possibility. I stood at the brink of something far greater than my previous self. As night approached, painting the sky in hues of indigo and violet, a question lingered in the twilight, echoing just beyond the horizon: how do we navigate the tumultuous waters of existence while nurturing the light that seeks to emerge from within? What if the art of living lies in our relentless quest to embrace and transform every sacred storm? The forest was cloaked in twilight, the sun now a distant ember casting a warm glow beneath the horizon. I walked the path with a resolute heart, still resonating with the elder's wisdom. Each step felt like a prayer, a rhythm echoing the pulse of the earth beneath me. My feet pressed against soft moss, the texture grounding me amidst the many thoughts swirling in my mind. How does one truly embrace the storms of life and emerge glorious on the other side? Suddenly, a low hum resonated through the air, causing my curiosity to stir. It was soft at first, like the gentle calling of an unseen choir. I followed the sound, winding deeper through the thicket, letting the vibrations guide me forward. The trees parted eventually, revealing a hidden grotto bathed in silver moonlight. Here, the air was thick with a kind of sacred energy I couldn't name, infused by the tranquil notes weaving through the space. In the center of the grotto stood a group of figures, their forms painted in the shades of night blacks and blues and the gentle shine of silver. They swayed gracefully to the music that echoed all around, bodies moving with a fluidity I had never seen before. It felt as if they were dancing not just to the melody but to the very heartbeat of the universe. I was captivated, compelled to join their cosmic movement, but beyond the dance, I was aware of the presence of an elder at the group's edge, a figure somehow familiar yet different from the one I had just left. She carried an air of knowing that compelled me forward. As I approached, she turned, her eyes holding galaxies within. "Ah, child of the forest," she spoke, her voice an echo of the stars. "You have embarked on a path that intertwines many lives. Are you ready to listen to the song of the collective?" I nodded, my breath caught in my chest. "I am, but how can my singular voice contribute to this melody? Every soul is a note in the grand symphony of existence," the elder replied, gesturing toward the dancers. "Each struggle you embrace, each storm you weather, adds depth to your frequency. What you learn reverberates, affecting the energies around you. Remember, to sing is to unite. Your journey has a ripple effect." The dancers began to drift closer, their movements slow and inviting like the breath of the earth. They reached out to me, hands extended, and I felt my soul stir. Could it be that by embracing my own storm, I could awaken the light within others? Feeling the pull, I joined their circle, feeling the energy shift within and around me. As I surrendered to the movement, I began to hear the stories unspooling in the air, woven through the strands of music. Tales of loss, love, transformation, and the profound beauty of human connection danced all around me. I became aware that each movement was a living expression of life's complexity, a reflection of the chaotic and beautiful experience we all shared. There in that grotto, I understood, these moments of embracing vulnerability were not solitary encounters but shared experiences that connected us to one another. In our storms, we found kinship, understanding, and above all, a deep longing to heal together. But even with this understanding blossoming within me, the question still lingered: how do I ensure my dance does not falter amid the chaos of existence? The rhythm pulsed around me, and the lights of the cosmos sparkled overhead as I continued to sway, surrendering to the music of the moment. Yet as I danced, the questions deepen. How can I nurture this collective light while ensuring my own brightness remains undimmed? What balance must I strike between my sacred storm and the storms of others? The time passed in a whirl of becoming, each heartbeat and breath merging into a singular experience. The moon hung high, a sentinel bearing witness to my awakening. As the last notes faded and the dancers gradually dispersed, I returned to the elder, breathing heavily yet filled with grace. Child of the forest, do you glimpse the threads that connect you to others? She asked, her eyes sparkling with insight. Yes, I replied, heart burgeoning with a newfound clarity. I see that each tempest within can nourish the community without, but I still grapple with the dance between self and other. She smiled knowingly. The art of existence is to balance your own light with the shadows of the world. Remember, nurturing your flame does not diminish those around you. Instead, it beckons them to ignite their own, creating a constellation of souls shining brightly together. As I stepped back into the embrace of the forest, colors swirling in the night sky, I felt the electric charge of potential vibrating through me. Wrapped in a cocoon of questions, I wandered onward. The path stretched endlessly before me, illuminated not just by the moon but by the light I now felt budding within. What new storms might I embrace on this journey, and how might they illuminate the sacred connections I shared with others? And above all, how can I remain true to my own rhythm while inviting others to join the dance of existence? In the early hours of dawn, just before the sun began to unfurl its golden arms across the horizon, I found myself standing silent and still in the heart of the same sacred forest that had witnessed my transformation. The crisp air was infused with the fresh scent of earth and dew, awakening my senses as I paused to reflect on the cosmic dance of the storm that had changed everything for me. The echoes of laughter and camaraderie lingered in the air, remnants of the stories shared around the fire, grounding me in this moment. As I stood beneath the tall canopy of towering trees, I felt the whispers of the universe once more alive, vibrant, and full of promise. Memories of the gathering washed over me, the connections forged in vulnerability, the understandings that grew from sharing not only triumphs but the shadows lurking in the corners of our souls. I realized with startling clarity that the sacred storm was not simply an event that had transpired outside of me. It was deeper, a reflection of the storm within, a powerful awakening of purpose that had cracked open the door to my own truth. Embracing the lessons of the elder, I understood now that each moment of fear, each trembling doubt, had woven the very fabric of my existence. They were no longer burdens but sacred threads creating a tapestry of resilience. My willingness to step into the storm, to allow the chaos to shape me, gave birth to a radiant understanding. We are all intricately connected, bound by our shared journeys. The flickering lights of each life echoing within mine revealed an infinite web of collective experiences. With these thoughts guiding me, I extended my senses outward, grounding myself in the essence of everything around me. The wind danced playfully through the branches above, like a gentle reminder that, while storms may shake the foundations of our lives, they also clear the way for growth, for rebirth. I closed my eyes, trusting the rhythm of my heart to lead me as I turned my face toward the rising sun. As the first rays of light began to break over the horizon, a warm golden glow enveloped the forest. Light intertwined with the shadows, illuminating every drop of dew that clung to the blades of grass, transforming them into radiant jewels. At that moment, I felt the undeniable truth resonate within my core. I was not separate but a vital part of this magnificent weave. I opened my eyes and marveled at the miracle of life unfolding around me, and as I gazed at the sun rising higher, warmth flooded through me, igniting a profound revelation. The journey ahead was not merely about individual enlightenment, it was about carrying forth the light of my awakening, allowing it to ripple through the web of existence. The storm had unearthed my purpose, and in that purpose was the call to extend the embrace of vulnerability to others, to share my truth and inspire others to step forward into their own light. As I resumed walking along the forest path, each step lighter than the last, I understood that the magic of the universe lies in our willingness to dance through the storms together. There is strength in vulnerability and alchemy that not only transforms our understanding of ourselves but of each other, bridging the gaps between hearts and souls. Each person I encountered from this day forward would no longer just be faces in the crowd. They would be reflections of my own journey, each carrying the sacred light of their individual stories, waiting for the opportunity to be shared. And as I reached the edge of the forest, an overwhelming sense of belonging washed over me. The entire universe hummed in harmony with my spirit, inviting me to extend the invitation, to join in the dance, to embrace the wild storm of existence with open hearts and hands wide enough to catch the stories of others. As sunlight bathed the landscape in warmth, a profound peace settled over me, illuminating the path ahead. In the dance of life, in the rise and fall of our stories, we would find not just solace but a deeper connection to the universe that breathed through every moment. The sacred storm had transformed me, and now I was ready to help others weave their own threads into this cosmic tapestry, and on that glorious morning, standing on the threshold of my next adventure, I realized that truly embracing the sacred storm means acknowledging that we are all perfectly imperfect, dancing through the chaos of life together. The power of transformation lies not in avoiding the storm but in welcoming it, for within every whirlwind is an opportunity for awakening, a chance to unfurl our spirits and shine brightly amidst the cosmic dance of existence. With every thunderclap in my heart and every embrace of the sacred storm, I welcome the journey ahead, understanding that we are all, in essence, one great unfolding, a beautiful reflection of the dance of the universe. I smiled, feeling the light radiate from within as I stepped boldly toward my purpose, the purpose we all share, to awaken, to connect, to love, and to rise together.